Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another City Skylines stream from Ronly Conley. I'm Justin with Ronly Conley. That's R only, C only. Got it? Okay, let's go. Today we're going to do the mass transit scenario for fixing traffic in the city of Rennburg. The previous mayor has quite frankly done a terrible job planning the road network, and I might be up to the task of fixing it. So in this, you'll see what is a pretty common problem. People on the internet have no idea how to solve traffic problems. Apparently, this scenario is a good place to start. If you have the Mass Transit DLC, I'm playing on console on PS5 in the remastered version. So there's some roads that aren't available, some aspects like that, but for the most part you should be able to do it even if you only have the Mass Transit DLC. And it can help teach you the important things you need for traffic. If you have no idea how why your city has traffic problems, I suggest you go through this scenario and it'll help you learn, but you can follow along with me now. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and help me make my real life art projects. And let's go. Okay, so we got a lot of roads here, a lot of neighborhoods, which is fine, but we've got a clear trash problem and death problem over here. That is a result of the traffic. If you have bad traffic, your services don't work right. So let's see if this mayor has a good waste management system. We're just barely underneath the processing capacity. We've got plenty of landfill room, though. But look at this traffic straight from the landfill. We're going to trace this problem now. It goes right here, and boom. Look, there's the trash trucks stuck trying to get on the highway. A poor ambulance. That explains why we have a death problem, because the ambulances cannot get there. Look at all these gray trash trucks stuck going both directions. But that's not the root of the problem. Let's pull up the info view map and look at the traffic. This highlights, of course, all of the traffic problem areas. What is green is clear, and what is red is a problem. Now, this football head shape that's a new one for me. That's an interesting sort of way to kind of do a roundabout, but not really. And half the problem is here when they're making that sharp turn, and there's only one lane. So that's one place we can fix. We know that that's a problem area. All right. There is a time limit on, I think, on this scenario, but we're going in the slow pace. Only got it on one arrow. But look at this. How does it go from 4 lanes to 2? All right, so we know that we got to fix that immediately. There's just no sense in that. Please don't ever do that in your city. We're going to do that on all these roads because even the ones that are empty, it's going to improve the flow. Not by doing the one underneath. That's going to cause problems. This is probably a stoplight. Yep, we'll take the stoplights off. That's going to help a bunch. These are the immediate things that you need to do, and if you've watched any of my other tutorials where I'm going through the regular console version, not the remaster, it's all the same concepts. I don't believe in stoplights. It's rare that you ever need stoplights in this game, but especially on these highway exits. At most, I will put a stop sign on the outer edges, so I'll show you there, just like that, so they stop going in and causing the traffic from the highway to stop. But I'm not even going to do that now because the traffic problem is so bad. I mean, look, we have 62% traffic flow. It's actually in the green, but it's causing problems even still. And I tend to hover around 84% at my worst. So we definitely can fix the traffic problem fairly quickly. And maybe you know all this, but let's see. We're timing ourselves. We can see exactly how long it went. It took us to do this. Obviously, walking you through this, I'm not going as speedy as possible. But it will still be fast nonetheless. Getting rid of these stoplights is going to help tremendously. Fixing those overpasses to make them right, the same size. Having 4 lanes, that's going to be beneficial because not everybody's stuck trying to turn left. Really, we could add in some roundabouts, and we may go back and do that. I'm not a huge roundabout guy. Some people are die-hard roundabouts. I like some variation, and I think that the roundabout solves a lot of problems quickly, but I don't want to see a bunch of circles. For zoning purposes, it causes headaches for me. I mean, look, that roundabout's not helping at all. In fact, it's going the opposite way that you would traditionally see a roundabout directionally going. If everything was left-handed, that would make sense. But look, that's a weird way to cross. Everybody has to cut off somebody else. So what I'm going to do here is simply change the direction here. It's going to break down those shops, but they'll be okay. Double check. When you upgrade, sometimes it adds in stoplights. So be aware of that. But these stoplights, I mean, I've lived in cities where there were stoplights, just about every block, but this is a little ridiculous. I mean, there's barely enough room for us, a single car, 2 cars. 3, they're trying really hard, but that is it. So that's causing a traffic problem. We can deal with that also. Just limiting the number of intersections close together. That's another common problem that people don't realize, that they've got cars too close, intersections too close together. The cars will not drive once there's a car filling up the space. They will stop and wait for that car to pass. Usually it's very unnecessary for them to do so, but they do it anyway. God bless them. Okay, so we're still at a standstill here. What I'm at least going to do is make this a 4-lane road. Now, in the regular version of the game, not the remastered, there is a small 4-lane road that will be the best solution, but I'm at least going to... Daggum, I keep hitting the highway. We're going to at least make this... That one won't let happen because of the roads underneath, which is frustrating, but also a problem we can solve. I'm just going to destroy them. They'll be okay. You really don't need this bridge to be there. Let's make it all green. No, we'll make it all plain. We don't want that. And again, the roads are going in a funny way. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Since we upgraded the roads, it caused problems that way. The one benefit of this little football guy is that there is only one intersection. However, it's not one-way roads, so we'll change that back. We'll do 2 lanes up top. Shoot. I am causing problems on my own. So at least we have 4 lanes here. There's still access, but now they're all going to lean to one side. It's still an odd intersection, so we probably won't keep that. I am going to destroy that intersection. Just going to try to cut back on some of these intersections. It will cause inconvenience for our Sims, but our Sims will survive. They will be okay. That's too short of an intersection. What I'll do here is connect there. So even though that is a small intersection, at least we've got something. Actually changing my mind there and building that way. Then we have smaller strips. So that's a little bit of an improvement. It's still not desirable. The other thing that's causing you problems is that the only connection across the highway is the highway. There are not enough like regular roads connecting. Look at this. There's one, you have to go all the way through the city streets to get there. But we can fix this very quickly also. And that's a common problem. I also see people who are desperate for help with their traffic. They just don't have enough connecting roads. And if you do that, it will also, it just eases the flow of traffic. Think of traffic like water. Water follows the path of least resistance. If you watch any of my other streams, you've heard me say it a million times, but write it down on the blackboard 100 times, the path of least resistance. That's how you solve traffic. You help with that. You help with the flow directionally. You just want it to be natural and as easily as possible. That's kind of neat, the crematorium hill over there. That's interesting. I've never done that in my cities, but some of that is the value of doing these scenarios. You can learn new ways of doing it. We've just become, what was that? A capital city. Oh boy, now we have improved the population. 200 people coming in already, partly because we destroyed some buildings, but also because of the flow of traffic is improving. Now we know this football head is still causing problems. We'll put a stop sign there and there just to try to help less people be in the way. I think what's happening now is they're all waiting for each other to move. Okay, so now we're gonna make some alterations. Gonna add ramps. There's a ramp. Oh, I forgot I made that 2 lanes. That I've done it again, haven't I? Sometimes I will upgrade like that on accident, so thank you for your patience in helping me do that. I will put this there so it's not, the intersection is not at the same point. It will cause some problems, but at least like with this guy, we're not going to have to mess up those office buildings. That's what that blue is, if you don't know. That's an office zone. And there's another point of place. Look, they've built a bridge here. It's not very tall, which is why earlier I guess we had to destroy the roads underneath to, make the bridge bigger. But that should be good there. It went over that one. Sorry to those people in that office. I didn't mean to destroy it. I didn't mean it. Please forgive me. There's more connectors. We'll connect here. And it's odd that the highway ends and begins right there. So we'll destroy that road. I'm just going to move this one over, connect there, and we'll connect here too, just for fun, just for fun's sake. Just to give cars another place to go. It's really helpful. This being 2-lane is useless, honestly. So we're going to make that a 1-lane. It's only going to be cars coming off the highway that can turn there, or cars from this direction. And I'm going to think real hard about whether I want to keep that pattern in there. I mean, they're all trying to turn left now, so let's just destroy that. You can't go that way now. They're disappearing literally before our eyes. What we probably could do is just destroy some roads and let some of these people disintegrate if you wanted to do it truly quickly. But then you would have to rebuild the road. I'm not sure why we have a snake. But there you go. It coming out of the left side is probably causing some problems because people are connecting. There's no roads connection, no regular connections there, I mean to say. So what I'm going to do is hook here. Going to build a bridge if I can. There we go. Come on across. That's too short, of course. But we'll go right there. It's not pretty. I just wanted to do that to be quick and dirty for you. We'll add some road connections there. There's a power plant in the way, so we'll do a little curve. You have to be careful with those angles because the roads are really picky with placed objects being that way. All right, so now we're adding some more connections. That's nice. They don't have to go to the highway just to get down a block. And boy, the guy before me, Mayor Perkins, what a genius. I see why they didn't elect him and they elected me, a very smart man, to be the leader. We'll put that one there. Make a nice little office block and 2 more pathways, creating less resistance, less need for using all on one road. And by adding surface area to the road, you're going to increase the average traffic flow, provided that they are, spacious enough. Oh, that's a one-way road. I didn't know that. Why is that a one-way road? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's probably something you should know when you start the game, is that it's a roundabout and it flows out and you have to go in the middle. That doesn't make any sense. All right. You want the roundabouts to be one way because everybody should flow the same direction, because the whole point of a roundabout is so that you don't have traffic crossing. But these one-way roads, there's a time and a place for one-way roads, and you want it to be in a place that makes sense. So had they made 2 separate bridges going each separate directions, that would have made more sense. But this is, a fake scenario. Nobody in reality actually made these things. What is that? Heavy density. So I'm just going to fill that back out so they don't get destroyed. Still might anyway, but home of stuff? Home of the stuff. Ooh, how very important. We can see the traffic's already starting to flow a little bit better than it was. I mean, what is that? Why was that destroyed? Maybe I did that and didn't know it. But in general, I see no reason why you should stop like that. Stop the road. Unless you're intentionally building something that you want to limit the ways to input into that intersection, but I don't see a point. I truly do not understand. I'm going to put another intersection here. Got to move this park over. Hopefully we can. Just a tad. We can do this. Come on. Slope too steep. Got to be careful with that. Can't go too steep. So we've connected it in a new spot. We're just going to go ahead and upgrade this segment. Sheesh, I keep hitting the highway. I'm glad I'm not in construction. Okay. So now we're just going to create a new exit off the highway. You can do it either straight or with the curve tool. When it's far away like this, the curve tool is kind of funny. I made that post too close to the highway. But that's fine. We'll make a diamond, and that's fine. You could put a roundabout there if you really were into that sort of thing. So we still got quite an issue here. And this is the cause. See how these cars are cutting across the lanes to get to that left lane? That left exit, I mean. I'm going to go right here before that exit begins, where they can actually, because I don't want them to lose that way to get on the highway, but the snake is really throwing us off. Oh, come on. We can do it. I believe in you. Oh boy. It agrees with me until I am ready for it to do something. So there we go. Now we've got one easier way for the traffic to go. Connect here. And I'm actually going to connect it to the main highway further back so that it doesn't, so there's no overlap with this exit here that they've created for us. Hopefully I can. That's a little close, so only one truck will fit in there. So what I'm going to do is move this over sooner so that we can put the exit well before. I got to take these snaps off. You want the exit to minimize the overlap. And since this is only a scenario city, I'm not going to spend time making it look nice and smooth and beautiful. But you do have the option of keeping going with your city once you win the scenario, which I'm sure you'll do if you follow, my general rules of thumb for how to fight traffic, how to limit it being a problem. That's already going to help some. I mean, look, this is a sharp turn. I'll fix that because, I can already hear people hitting their brakes too quickly. And that's a lot better there. And here they all go. It's like watching cars get back on the highway after the 4th of July. And what I'll do here is add 2 lanes. So now we've got a natural progression from 1 lane to 2 to 3. Now here, what are they? Oh, this is the football. Okay. So the football hasn't really solved the problem hasn't been solved there. But there's a stoplight. How did that get there? If you knew that stoplight was there, then I'm sad that I didn't get the notification. Could have let somebody know. Okay. We're just gonna completely demolish this. And we're gonna rework it completely. We're gonna redo it all together. So since there's no need for these to be one. The only downside here is that I don't know where the highway connected. Oh, it's right here. Okay. There's a number of ways you can go about solving this issue. What I'm going to do is just raise the highway up. So when it comes back down, it's all ready to go. And that is ugly. My goodness. You could do a roundabout overhead if you wanted. This actually may not be the best way to go about doing this. since this highway is already connected. Just going to make this road on the ground floor. The reason is, one, so we can make this connection a little better, a little more natural. And two, so we can connect these parts of town without having to go through the highway to the same extent that is. So now what we're going to do is hook wide. Okay, I'm going to destroy the highway now because I really should have done the roundabout first because there's less obstacles in the way. And this is a really funky shape. You can use the grid lines, you can use the road guides to help with that and make it a lot prettier than what I've done here. And we have sacrificed quite a bit of our city, really. But there's... shoot, I didn't mean to... This is why I don't often use that tool, the bulldozer tool, as a large, solution to destroy a bunch at once, because I will often have that problem of destroying more than I anticipate. I hope wherever you're at, it's a lovely day and the weather is nice and the way you like it. It's kind of dreary, but the sun is coming out here in Connecticut and it's finally starting to feel like spring. So we really don't need an exit to go that direction. Rather, we'll have an exit there. And that there's no reason to have an exit going the opposite direction because of this over here. We could probably connect the two closer, but ideally we might move the highway to just come off immediately there. And even that's not the best solution. But since it's all highways now, shoot. Alright, we're going to take that down. Twice. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you're not going to fool me again. That's George Bush for your day. Happy Wednesday. Alright, this ain't working. In fact, I'm going to just destroy that because there's really no reason to have those two. This one we can get away with a little bit. What I'll actually do is add a lane coming off here in the same, like, almost a mirror image of the other side, or as close to it as we can be. Just to fan it out a little more, because there's just too much going on these. Like we're literally funneling onto one spot, which is not ideal. Truly, it's really not great. And now now it makes more sense to actually connect these two. So you've seen my process of, build a little bit and then revise. Especially when you're doing these scenarios, you have to be cold, you have to make some harsh decisions. These are not my people. They elected me, but I'm more of a consultant, a traffic consultant. So earlier I said I wouldn't normally end a road like this, but now we want that to be kind of isolated. But we've got two good connections there, and we've made more connections in the backside, so those are not the only ways to get across town, to get between roads. And that is ultimately the solution. You want to streamline the best you can, but you want there to be more inputs and outputs, right? If we're thinking about traffic as water and we're going for the easiest flow, these poor people have to go all the way around the world because of what I've done. The fire station we got to move. We'll put it on the corner here. Oh, the clinic too. I didn't realize those were all services. That's solved. Okay. But look, it's already moving a lot more smoothly. This still leaves something to be desired, but that's because of having those big intersections. A lot of paths crossing. And some of that is a result of the traffic that was already there. We'll make that the single exit lane just to try to funnel them a little better. Maybe that'll help. A lot of trial and error. I fail a lot. You just got to be willing to try something new. I put those stop signs on that road so that our roundabout traffic can move more freely without interruption. And that's not what I wanted at all. Okay. I'm not going to build a new exit here. I'm just going to build a bridge to connect. We don't really want there to be too many intersections. There's no need for a middle exit between these major interchanges. That's part of the issue here. Look at all these cars. This is the backside of what we fixed earlier, and that's at least out of the way, but they're still all filing into one, so that doesn't really solve it the way that I want it to. So we'll come back to that. They are plunging here, but I think that's a stoplight. Yes, I didn't remember to do the stoplights. You got to check those. Maybe there's a setting for keeping those from happening automatically, but if there is, I don't know of it. All these people are turning right, and they're going straight through. Where is their destination? Let's find out. Way over here. So that's half the problem, is that they're crossing the whole city trying to get to these destinations. This is a mess. I hope your city is not as poorly designed as this. And if it is, it's okay, because you're still learning. If you weren't learning, you would not be watching this video. I like on the remaster, you can make it look like slime. The pollution, that is. And see, that's a decent amount of stretch of roadway. There's a lot of cars that can fit there. But since it was made to be funneled all the way through, that causes a problem. See, it was all that one road. They're all going to the roundabout. The roundabout is going different, but I think that is a roundabout that I fixed earlier, and I clearly fixed it poorly. We want to change the direction there. Yeah, that's half the problem, is that they were going and hooking around there. Sorry about that. You see, I'm not always even the brightest cookie in the jar. So these are still pretty close. You know, you got two big buildings there. That's not as big of an issue. It's when you get to the ones where there's maybe a building or two and they're all stoplights, that causes problems. The way we've done now, we've probably helped with the traffic quite a bit. I am going to build a connection there. Those poor guys living there. Just because there was only two in and out, and it kind of makes sense there. So we're just building more connections. The more connections you have, the better. The less choke points you have. I like this scenario because it makes me feel very smart playing with traffic. This game is very dependent on traffic, as you can see. If you didn't know that before, now you do. Going to move this park here so we can build another road. Got to hook around that school. There we go. So we've got a lot more places to go. These exits are a little too close, but they're not terrible because they do connect the sides of the city. All these people are getting off the exit to turn back around. That's a bad sign. Let's find out where they're going. Going all the way up here and stopping there, I guess. That's a little strange. Sometimes it is hard to find the point you want. We're going to build another road out this way in case they are going. Come on. If the people getting off the highway are trying to go over here, that might be easier. As far as a turn, it's really a four-way intersection. One problem with the industry that I don't like about this game is that the trucks just pull in the front. They don't just park and disappear or go into the lot. They stop traffic. It doesn't make sense. Nothing like that happens in real life. I've never seen anything like that. So looking at this roundabout, we're still dealing with leftover traffic problems. So obviously once there's more places for them to go, it's not as problematic. I'm going to make this a three-way stretch just because there's so many people coming through. But it's already starting to clear up. And that's ultimately our goal, as I've said many times now. And this is finally clearing up also. That's good. Slowly but surely. Partly because we solved this problem down here. It all trickles down. Oh, so this is what I've done myself. I have once again become my own worst enemy by creating a choke point. A literal part where there's not as many lanes. Now we've got to destroy this because I'm a genius and a very smart man, as I may have mentioned. Maybe. Oh yeah, look at that. That's great. Well, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I'm not going to lie to you and say it is, but it is better. And it accomplishes the goal that we wanted. What do you mean the slope's too steep? Gosh. Fickle, fickle, fickle. Now, if it was really a problem and if it was a city I wanted to save, I would try to level that out, the slope with the landscaping tool, but I'm not really that concerned about it. I'm not going to save the city forever. I'm just trying to make the traffic better. We're up to 72. We started at like 65, 64, something like that. So I apologize if you're watching after the fact and can check that very easily. So that's one issue, is that they're using that as a way to get around traffic. So I'm going to highlight this as a district, and when I make it a district, I can go in, change the policies, and make it Old Town, which means only residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicles. So only people who have something to do in this spot are going to go through there. What I will do is take out that section of road just so people can use the new bridges that we built and the new exits. Another big design flaw with this is that the small residential and the high density is far away from where they're wanting to go, all the workplaces, that sort of thing. You want more people to be within walking distance of your various parts of town. If everybody works in one section of town, you want them to live relatively close. Look, we've made progress. They gave us $300,000. Or, excuse me, 300,000 money. I guess they can't claim to have one specific currency. Obviously, it's a global game. I'm sure that's one reason. But we got 300,000, and we're going to keep going. But now we don't have to worry about overspending, which we're rolling in revenue, so thankfully that's not a problem either. But maybe you have that problem, and it's all in your expenses, your taxes. I may not want that to really be that short, but that's not a part of town that's especially problematic. That's okay, we'll leave that unconnected. Having these 2 extra bridges, I think, will be helpful in the long run. So again, this segment is really causing problems, so I'm just going to destroy that. And, it throws off the flow of traffic, but hey, at least people are functioning. Wait, what happened to the water? Maybe I turned it off on accident. Yeah, I destroyed the power line. You always want to remember when you're destroying a power line. Now, this is how I stop myself from causing those problems, by, connecting extra power lines, but all the water towers are in one spot, which is kind of an odd design anyhow. But we've got plenty, and that's good. Obviously, you don't want to put it where it's a lot of ground pollution. That's what that blackness is. Because otherwise, your Sims will get sick and die. And that's another problem. If you're watching this because you don't know how traffic works, you probably might not know that pollution causes your Sims to get sick and will kill them off. Even if you have a lot of health centers and hospitals and doctors' offices, it still causes problems. I guess that makes more sense there than I realized, but see, this is what I'm talking about. Only 3 cars, the ones behind them don't go. I'm going to make this a 2-lane road. Just give it a little bit extra space. And you may find it helpful also to upgrade your roads to hide the additional cars that are just parked. Just from a visual standpoint, it can be overwhelming to see so many cars placed. Just make you think that you've got a bigger traffic problem than you do. I'm gonna upgrade that too. Now it's all consistent. Also, when you put down the trees and the decorated roads like that, it raises your land value. So, I mean, when you make it smaller, it will destroy stuff, so you have to kind of be ready to be quick and rezone those spots so it doesn't get destroyed, or at least will rebuild. How we doing? We're up to 83%. This is my meat and potatoes score, meaning that generally speaking, this is where I tend to hover around. What I will do, I know I said I wasn't going to build another exit here, but technically I'm not. Only going to build an off-ramp because that's where a lot of the choke points are. They're going down here and then dispersing. Oh, these are one-way roads. No wonder it's all messed up. Okay, so please don't ever do this in your city. Be intentional about it. You can funnel them like that, absolutely, but it will cause problems. There's not a traffic need for one-way roads. Don't get me wrong, I will often place one-way roads in my design, especially early on, but there is no reason for all of this neighborhood to be back and forth like that, even though it is an industry area and there's a lot of big trucks and they'll get in the way. One-ways like that are not going to solve the problem as much as you want, especially when there is one choke point. Now we're trying to limit some of this crossing, so you could put a roundabout there or make them separate roads and have them connect at a separate intersection even. There's also the possibility that you just cut that road off and use only those two side ones. That's how I would do it. Is similar to how this goes into two separate streets. That's probably the best way to go about addressing the traffic problems, because then they have separate locations that they're going to. So let's do that. Since they're kind of far away from each other, I'm going to connect this way so they'll have a pretty clear intersection. We don't want it all to be at the same point, though. We don't want to create unnecessary choke points. Remember, path of least resistance, path of least resistance. Okay, so I did it that way. I gotta turn it around because one-way roads follows the directions that you give it. By putting the hospitals and things on this segment, that's less traffic. It won't cause, traffic going into the buildings, so that won't be as bad. We can fix that also. Look, that's so much better. Okay. Great, so this should help tremendously compared to what it was. Now, you could even go further. And what I was talking about is now you have the one-way streets straight off of where your highway entries and exits are. So then they don't have to, like this works, to go one way there. But you don't want it to all be one-way streets like that. You want to have some two-way streets. Just for convenience. I mean, if you lived in the city, you wouldn't want to have to go a mile and a half out of the way. Especially the perpendicular roads, I think, are better to be the two-lane. I still might delete this middle segment just because there are so many intersections now, but they don't seem to be causing as much traffic problems as they were. So look at that. One interesting thing is that some of these trucks are going to the exit ramp, it seems, but I may have just thrown off their course. Now keep in mind, this can go absolutely a lot faster if you take the speed up on the game. But since it is timed, I think, or at least some of the scenarios are limited by, you have to, like, so many in-game years, I guess. I generally play the scenarios slower, but you don't have to do that. We'll put that one just in case they're coming off that exit to try to get over here. We'll make that a little easier. That'll help address the road here being full of traffic. I mean, look, they're already turning there. So we know that will make a difference. Having this extra off-ramp, even with this small segment, it still works okay because it's an extra distribution point for the roads that you have. Now here I'm just going to add an exit ramp because I don't want that road to connect both directions, even though it probably wouldn't hurt. But I don't want it to be the main way. I want it to just be going on the off-ramp, and they don't need to connect there. Now this is kind of weird how they've got that connecting, but it's also a quieter part of town, it looks like, so it's not the destination. The industrial areas are your most frequented areas, especially for the big trucks. So you want to limit where the trucks can go, but also you want to be prepared to give them many different possible routes. They'll figure out what is the fastest way on their own. And having this many 4-lane roads is also probably somewhat of a problem because they're faster roads, the speed limits are. So let's just do that. So now we've given them a little more room to build also. We're just going to make this all office area, even though there's no demand for building anything because we've been destroying so much, but I digress. We will turn this around. Connecting these roads like this, that's a medical clinic, and all your services are in the back. First of all, that's an odd place to put your services because you would want them in the middle of the area because they have a certain radius, and all the green is where they can get to easily. So we can put it here right in the middle. They're going to complain about it, but they're still in the area that it serves, even though they're not like, front row seats. But having that extra connecting road is very important for doubling because they have to take the roads too. The fire truck would have to go, so much extra to get to the same point over here without that road. So we've improved that. I'm going to add another connection over the hill here. We'll go right here. We're basically giving little bypasses to your city. Now, this is kind of a weird spot because of that short intersection. But again, there's not quite as much traffic as there used to be. And we can extend that there, so if they're trying to turn right, they don't get caught up in that. And I do apologize to the citizens of Rennburg who have been dislocated by our process here, but we are doing it for the good of the state. So sacrifices have to be made. They're patriots. And this is way too steep, but that helps. Because we're thinking about the traffic patterns, remember. And look, there's not even a buildup on the road now. That's an accomplishment. Give yourself a pat on the back. For me, we'll say that you're really patting me on the back. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this video or the stream, whether it be on Twitch Live or on YouTube afterward, or even on Twitch afterward. Be sure to hit that follow button, like this video, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch if you've got that. Prime members can send me $5 free for them if you subscribe through your Prime account, if you haven't done that to somebody else already. And you can visit my website, ronlyconly.com. That's ronlyconly.com. There you can learn more about me, Justin, and more about the work I do in theater and the projects I'm working on now. I'm trying to produce an animated short film with a playwright I know, and also create an app for the arts to try to incentivize public participation in their local arts scene. So do visit ronlyconly.com and learn more there. And if you're so inclined, please support me. There's a number of ways you can do so. But I sell art prints I made with the help of artificial intelligence, which feels kind of funny, but I'm trying to, it's kind of testing a hypothesis of whether that could be a viable fundraising source, especially for nonprofit arts organizations. But regardless, I am thankful for you watching this, and I hope that it's helping you learn more about City Skylines and the game mechanics and what you can do to improve your gameplay. We're at 89%, and I'm not sure what the goal of the scenario is in terms of what is the traffic percentage flow we're trying to get. I'm just going to look that up real quick while we're waiting on it to work itself out also. We want traffic flow to be over 82% and have 35,000 population. And our time limit is 200 game weeks. We'll fail if the population goes below 25,000. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. You don't want to destroy everything that's been built up, because you could fail the scenario. So I wish I had known that ahead of time. Since we do need people to win it, we're well above the percentage of traffic. I thank you for bearing with me. It's a learning process, and I should have checked about that ahead of time, but that's all right. It's going to take a long time for all of this to develop. Since I've built so much, the demand is not going to be there. It's already not there for the services. But what we can do, there's no public transit in this town at all. So that's where we'll move our focus to while we're waiting on things to generate. I'm going to find where an industry area is. This looks like a great spot. And now we're going to make bus routes. These routes should go from where people are to where they want to be. I'm just going to arbitrarily place them. That'll help bring in new citizens. They'll move in because there's more services. Look how happy they get when you drop just that simple bus stop. And boom, we've got one solid line. It's not the greatest, but we will build transfer points. Sims will transfer public routes 3 times, I've read. I haven't tested that directly myself, but we're at least going to try to be close. They're around the block. They can transfer pretty easily. And I'm going to go down this street into here, this little neighborhood, loop around here. I don't want to build on this little segment because, well, there you wouldn't because traffic would build up, but this I think will be okay. Yeah, we'll go and be in the industry zone at least. Don't want to put it here because it's in the middle of the highway, but there is a hospital. So we'll go to the hospital. And then we'll loop around here. One final one there. Now we'll come back to where we were. And at the same time, we're going into a residential or office area. This European style, they all kind of look the same, so it's hard to tell. So forgive me if I am being completely wrong there. And since we've made more connections on the roads, it's easier to have this huge network. Now, ideally, you would want a shorter route than I just made, but we're just being quick and dirty here. Get in, get out, doing everything we can to try to improve it a little at a time. And again, you want to go from residential area to industry or shopping areas. You know, think about where are your Sims wanting to get, and that'll help you address your traffic problems. I don't really want my bus to go through the highway since I do have that one stop, or the one bridge, excuse me. We'll use it, our brand new bridge. We started here, so that puts us in a good position. We can't turn there because it's a one-way road because somebody made it, deleted that piece in between. I think we're now at a point where traffic isn't a problem. We could probably get away with adding that back in, but I really don't want to. But whatever. I'll do it. Maybe. I think it'd be faster to go around the loop, but okay, I'm going to place it there, come out here, build a one-way road. This will help nullify that problem that we were having, where it'll still cause kind of a backup, but you're not going to have that crossover, which was really causing the issues. I don't know why it can't find that on its own, but we'll go down here too and connect these roads. Okay, there we go. That wasn't so bad. Not a new line. You just have to tap that and then boom. Complete. Why won't you go through there? Is that a one-way also? Is that the problem? No, it's not. Whatever. Well, we'll put another bus stop there, I guess. What is going on? Why is this having a problem? Oh, that's a one-way in the opposite direction? You kidding me with this? That is crazy stuff right there. No wonder traffic was so bad in this place. Really, there's no real world person is making that mistake. I believe in you and your abilities that won't be a problem for you. I have a visitor. My cat just landed on my feet in the recliner. She's a sweet girl. Her name is Nina. patatina, which means little potato in Italian. She's a good supervisor. Now what we're going to do is build a new line to go to this industrial area. And we'll cut across the bridge, come over here, beep bop a doo. We haven't touched anything over here yet, so it's good that we're doing this. And we want to get back. Oh, dang. Came a long way. I didn't realize that. You gotta be careful of scope creep doing this project. You don't want to go too crazy building a long line of, your bus route. But I didn't know that was a roundabout either. Huh. So I'm going to change that because there's really just no need for this to be one-way roads. That's going to help with the trash pickup also. I'm maybe going to add a road there just because it's not too short of a span. We're almost done with this. We probably could have done it a lot quicker if I had known I needed 35,000 people. But I digress. I was a little laissez-faire about the destruction of buildings that were already there, so that's my mistake. You can learn from that. Here's another random one-way street. We're just going to change it. And I'm sure that was a one-way that I missed, when I was adding these other streets. So no need to beat ourselves up about that. We all make mistakes. The good part about City Skylines is none of the taxpayers are real, and all the money's fake. And you can always change it back later. You can get really caught up in making it look just perfect. Obviously, this is not. We've almost got a little star going on here. It looks like a character. I like that. That's nice. And I'm going to follow suit here with this, just to give it a second place to go. And so people coming from those sides don't have to go around the block. Just trying to do it all for my Sims. It's really about the people. They might not be real, but these people, they needed me, and I'm here to help them. What are we doing on taxes? Everything's at 9. I'm just going to lower the residential tax. I don't know if that actually makes a difference in terms of how many people move to town, but it can't hurt, right? Lower taxes? Who doesn't like lower taxes? Maybe the government. But we're rolling in revenue, like I said before. So I think we're at a pretty good place in terms of this actual scenario. We've limited the traffic. What is going on here? I bet you that's a stoplight. Yes, it is. And look how much. This is why I don't use stoplights in the game. Just that one single stoplight caused the road to be backed up like crazy. Now, some of that is because it is the path of least resistance. There's only 3 roads connecting to that side, and they're all trying to get to that new intersection we just made. So we're going to build another road. Everybody say, yay, infrastructure. Thank you. I heard that. Thank you again for watching. I mean, it's still all going to go to this one road, so we may make that bigger, even though we've built up some. But it might be all right. Another way we could get around it is making the exit ramp come off the left side here and over. What are you doing? Hello. Guys, I think the game is broken. Traffic is so good. Wow. It's going awfully slow, too. That's pretty amazing. Let's see where it's going. Driving home, it's a high school student. Go figure. Bet their parents won't like how much their insurance is going to go up off from this one. But they're driving home. We can't see their route because they're flying. So I guess it's a lot easier. I'll speed it up just so we can follow them. Wow, already on the level of, I'm guessing the residence is there. That's pretty convenient. Probably saves on the commute time. Uh-oh, are we going to run into the building? Yep, right through it, right through it. Right through that garage, too, wow. Oh, and now we're in the ground. Yeah, you know what they say, when you can't go through it, go under it. I hope this poor guy makes it home. I mean, his parents got to be worried sick. And maybe he'll never get there. Maybe they'll come right out this side and keep on going into the wilderness and, you know, into the great beyond. The city's skylines in the distance. Oh, nope, there we are. Home, yay. Oh, there we go. Maybe we can find him. Come on. Can't zoom any more than this, which is probably not ideal, but it's nice of him to park down the street. There it is. That's home. Wow. Nobody tell on him, please. Okay, so we've got this icon over the industry. Nobody's buying the goods. That means we need more commerce. That's something that's not spelled out in this game very clearly. A lot of people I've seen have trouble with that online. They're very confused. I myself did not know for a very long time. So if you watched my stream yesterday in the tutorial where we're building New Chirp City, you would have known. You've heard that before. So please do watch my other streams of teaching you more about City Skylines, and feel free to comment with any tips and tricks you have that you've found along the way. There's still plenty that I don't know. But I would advise you to join the City Skylines subreddit because you'll learn a lot that way. That's where I've learned things more recently. And you'll be able to stay up to date with new assets, and if they drop and you're in the loop. It's a nice community there too. People sharing their cities. You can share your city there, and I'm sure you'll be a big hit. And see, this makes sense for that small segment of road to be 2-lane, one-way roads. And all these people are turning left. That's interesting. Or the bulk of them. Okay, so what we can do there to address that problem is make this 2 lanes, at least on that front part. So we've got a left turn and a right turn. 2 left turn lanes, but they'll tend to hug that left one, I believe. If you have the PC version, there are mods where you can delineate what lanes go in which direction. So if you don't have a console or you haven't bought the game yet and you have a computer, I do highly recommend you get the computer. The mod community is fantastic. A lot of the DLCs for this game have been literally taken from mods that are popular. I wish they would include the traffic solving ones. That would really make this whole scenario probably a lot easier. But until then, we'll just complain, and I mean, it gives you more challenges, which is kind of nice. I mean, it keeps you on your toes. It's hard to get bored. But I do like the challenges that I make for myself, and not the other way around. I mean, doing a scenario, obviously, it's different, but sometimes you make mistakes, and then you have to work around those mistakes, like I've done many times in the stream. So I'm glad you joined me. We're just waiting now for people to move in. That's why I've got it on top speed. Traffic is flowing much more freely. The one problem here is that they're all trying to take that exit, so we could change that. In fact, I will. But having that bridge in the way is causing some of the problem. But it is just traffic crossing. That's the real issue there. So I'm going to add that lane. Now this is a funky intersection, but in all likelihood, what's going to happen is that the people who are trying to take that direction, that's going to be the path of least resistance now. Let's see, they're already moving. And so it is going to cause a problem for the traffic that's coming off of this actual highway. However, I think some of that is still left over off of this curve. And we can make alterations here. Like so. By coming out here and making the exit start way in the back there. In general, people probably aren't going to be taking that right lane, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And now it's probably, actually, this is probably going to be easier to merge into each other sooner. And then we can still keep that. Yeah, we just made it a little more clean. And by making it 2 lanes, we have less of a bottleneck happen. Still some, because this is part of the delineation. If you could choose where the lanes go, it would be a lot easier. You can make it 3 lanes, maybe that'll help. Make this one 2 lanes sooner. That'll help some. Just to spread them out. We'll make this curve a little prettier. Just a little, not a lot. There's not a lot of traffic coming from there because to do this clover leaf is really kind of overkill. You could probably get away with a simpler interchange here because it's not really 2 highways. That clover leaf is more appropriate here since that is running all the way. It's more of an expressway, or even what I've done at other times I've done this scenario is put it here in the middle, and then you truly got 2 intersections, or 2 roads intersecting rather than all of these extra flowy things. And this is, especially after my edits, we have created spaghetti here on this highway. That's what a lot of people online would call this. I don't mind the spaghetti as long as it's functional. You can always make it neater. If you've got a PC version, you can get really particular in how the roads go beside each other. You don't need this much space between the lanes. I also think that that's one flaw of the game is that you just can't put roads too close to each other, especially when it comes to putting railroads between the highway or beside it. If you play like me and you don't start with all the buildings unlocked and from the beginning because you're trying to keep the achievements on, then you're always going to be retrofitting your railroads unless you only use where they begin in the game. I'm trying not to do that. We're getting there. We've got 35,000 citizens. Another way you can attract people is building more parks. So we'll do that now. We've got a lot of open land. Anyhow, the skate park is a good choice because it's small. It can be placed without destroying a lot. The dog park is also a good option there. I like the skate parks because it just sounds more fun. I don't have a dog. I have a cat. If you're a dog person, good for you. I like dogs that are related to me in somehow, but that's pretty much it. Generally, I tend to not be... I don't consider myself a dog person, but... Again, I'm not holding it against you who doesn't like dogs. They're nice when they're nice, but... Oh, I just built a park there. So... Now we'll put a dog park here just for you, because now you're yelling at me. I'm all self-conscious because I said I wasn't huge into dogs. I hope that didn't offend you. Please don't turn off this video. But if you have a dog, do comment. Let me know that. Please don't call me bad names, but, you know, tell me your dog's name and how long you've had them and what a good dog they are. I'm sure they are. They're always good dogs, right? Okay, so now it's a dog town. No cat parks, notice. I think that's a little offensive to me, but again, not going to hold it against anybody. And look, we've already spurred development now by having all these new parks. You have to keep an eye on your expenses and how much money is going where, but generally, we're in a position now we can handle spending this money. And the reason I like the dog parks and the skate parks is because they have such a large radius and a high entertainment value. This one has 125. The skate park has 125. Tennis courts, same thing. For their size, you get a lot out of them. The Plaza with Trees is only 75, and it's a little bit smaller. But you don't have the large parks for the same entertainment. So just paying attention to those entertainment values is important. It'll be helpful. Botanical garden, we don't have one anywhere. We don't really have any good place for it spatially that is available, but and I don't want to really cause any more destruction in my city, so to avoid doing that, I'm just going to build a new road just for a botanical garden. Some destruction along the way, but it's for a good cause. And look at that. Boom. We're having a good time now. Glad you're here. Help me do this. I really do hope that this is helpful to you. If it is helpful to you, or maybe you just enjoy my company in this virtual sense, please do hit that follow button. Subscribe if you're watching after on YouTube. And follow me on Instagram at RonelyConley. That's R only, C only. Got it? All right. I believe in you. You can follow me in all those places so you get alerts for when I am streaming live, which is generally Tuesday and Wednesdays, maybe Thursdays if I've got some time free. This morning I did a Red Dead Wednesday where I went hunting in Red Dead Redemption, and because I was streaming with you, I was able to get a perfect bird with a bow and arrow. So if that sounds interesting to you, please do tune into that. That's also going to be uploaded to YouTube shortly. It's in my Twitch file. It's a lot shorter than these. I may pick it back up and do another stream of that later today. But do follow me. Stay in touch. Find me on my website, ronlyconly.com, R-only, C-only. And there you can read some articles I've written about albums that I love, the record that I have of them, and I'm talking about vinyl records. I collect those, so you can learn about what's special about each edition and what I like about them. And mostly why I enjoy these specific albums so much that I continue listening to them. Some of them I've been listening to for 20 years now. So I hope you'll check those out. Also, just some other odds and ends about things I'm working on or my life. You can learn more about me as an artist. I work in theater. I do some singing and play bassoon from time to time. And now I'm streaming, and I hope you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're along for the ride. Be sure to comment and say hello. And hope to hear from you soon. We'll be done with this very soon. We're almost at 35,000 already. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. And I certainly am having fun solving the problem of the traffic. The traffic problem in City Skylines, as I'm sure you know, it's vital to making a functional city that has good happiness. Just to see where we started, you can see the dip in population occurred when I was destroying everything, but we've been steadily growing since then. The birth rate has been a lot higher. But we want to look at the happiness. It's about the same as when we began, but just a little bit higher, which is nice. This new exit is just for our own personal enjoyment. I'm going to connect these two parts of the city. Again, that will help prevent traffic pileups, but it also might cause one there since that's a small road. But there's not as many destinations between the two, unless you include the shopping there, the shopping here, and the park, the botanical garden. But it'll be nice to, keep this intersection from getting so congested. And here we pretty much just extended this highway along over. It just looks like an exit. But this is flowing a lot better than it was a few minutes ago. So yay on us for that. We did cause kind of a problem, but this is because traffic is weaving between both of these exits. They're trying to turn left, and what I'll do here, I'm just going to delete that altogether and rebuild it in a way that is more functional. By which I mean we're going to come here and go to the right. So it's less leftover right crossing and more merging into the right lane. It will only help some, but it will help some. And what may ultimately prove successful is making a separate exit for that. In fact, what I may do is just connect that exit to be going onto the side road. But it's helped now. You got to watch out for that crossing pattern. When I mean, they're still doing some crossing from across two lanes. For some reason, this game doesn't recognize when you make a new lane, it means nothing. So on paper, you think, oh, we just got to add a new lane. That doesn't really help, except in these instances where the lanes do have different demarcations. But in console version, it really ultimately doesn't help too much because you can't control where they go exactly, which is what you really need. So I am going to alter this. Oh, you're gonna fight me? It's these posts underneath that is causing the problem. So there we go. And I'm just gonna make this exit come all the way up here. And then here we can make the exit come off the side of this ramp and connect. So now that's different. And we'll build another exit ramp. Just so now they're not overlapping. We're not forcing all that traffic to go in the one. And there's less crossover happening. It looks more jumbled. We've got a few new noodles, but at least we've got better flow overall. It did create a stoplight. You got to be aware of that. You got to watch out for those. Going to connect this road because, as we know, the more connections, the better. I could have just moved that building, but I just chose not to for convenience. Got to build a new sewer line because I didn't do that before. We're going to get one that's a little less polluting because we care about the environment. At Ronly Conley, I hope you do too. In the game, I only really care when it is helpful in terms of I can afford it and I have the space and can see less green slime. Most of the time, I'll put the industry area with all those so it blends in a little better. I think it kind of adds to the industrial look. But here now it's going to make too much because the land's pretty flat there. It's going to overflow, but thankfully the majority of our river is there. But actually, this we're going to delete this water pump because that is messing up this river, and all this toxic waste was starting to creep that way. It's very important. You got to be aware of that also. There's a lot of things to be aware of, as I'm sure you're gathering, but especially you want to not have your water in polluted areas. These fancy water towers are kind of new assets in the game, and they actually pump out more water than the what's it called? The water pumping station. This does 16,000, and that does 120,000. Excuse me, 160,000. It's very tiny print, and I am losing my eyesight quickly. The more pumps you have like this is literally pumping water that is polluted. That's why it's starting to go over the river line. But also that pump was sucking the water up. So as you can see, this spot is where that water pump was. So it would have been polluted in seconds. Now it might overflow. We may cause more problems. In which case, we'll turn one of these off since it's overflowing already anyway. In your disaster services, if you have a disaster response unit, they'll help with some of those issues. There's also road maintenance departments that can help. But there's water trucks that literally pump the water from the ground. If I can find them, I would show you how helpful they are, but I'm just having some problem. General Hospital, that's new. I haven't seen that one before. Oh, it's in the water services. So you can build a pumping system that will drain the water naturally, or you can do what I'm doing now, which is building a pumping station. So it's going to send out trucks that go and suck the water up off the roads and the land and brings it back into this pool. And you can build pumps to pump that out into wherever you want it to go, but we're not going to do that yet. It seems our flooding problem has abated since we've gotten used to having the water. Another way you can solve that is in your landscaping tools. There's a slope, and I always get confused on it, but you press square at your end point and then go to your start point and hold X as you approach. So we're going to hit there. There's our beginning point, and we're going to slope down. You can make it as strong as you want and make it slope more so it just naturally goes down. Hey, we did it. Traffic is flowing as it should be. No more traffic. Citizens salute their mayor as they should. Everyone should salute their mayor now. At least me. Salute me as mayor of Rennburg. We got the traffic well over 82%. We'll check out how much we managed to fix it to, what percentage, and we got to 35,000 people. Thank you for bearing with me here. Since we are it could have been done a lot sooner if I had not destroyed so many buildings. But I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful you're here. We've been going for an hour and a half here. We probably could have done it in just over an hour, had I not been so dim-witted. But just one final check. Traffic is 88%. You can still see where the choke points are. This is just a messy interchange, and honestly, probably the best solution is to just delete that exit ramp altogether and make them funnel to the second one, because it doesn't have a lot of people visiting it anyhow, because the path of least resistance is closer to their goal. But we'll end it there. Goodbye, Rennburg. I'll remember you in therapy. And thank you for watching. Remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Please do follow me on YouTube. Subscribe there. Like this video. And follow me on Instagram at RonelyConely. That's R-only-C-only. Got it? I'm glad you do. Glad you're here. Thank you for being along for the ride. And see you again soon.